Okay, so I want to talk about how social medias are like cities. Social medias are like cities and generations are like cities. What does that mean? It means that it has its own culture and it's its own environment. So it has streets, it has houses, it has people who own houses, it has people who rent houses. Cultures are clusters of behavior and activity. And think about it as if you were looking over a city from a bird's eye view in like a time lapse video that's going really fast. From that perspective, you can see certain roads go, people go up and down the same road a lot. The same people take the same path every day. The same people cross paths every day. And there's just bustling activity. And I think the idea is that when a social media begins, the way that it begins or the type of town it starts as is going to stay the same. Just like that's how we think cities are. But because we adopt technology so quickly, every time we integrate a new technology, it changes the nature of that city. It changes the nature of that town. And so the same people who are going up and down the same street every day or, taking the same path every day, little by little, if things are changing their environment, they might they might have a road that they have to make a detour at because someone's doing some construction, which a lot of these apps are doing construction, poorly thought out construction, and construction that's basically being built off of copying whatever the other social media is doing. So it's not like someone has a great city plan. When I say city plan here, I mean like social media plan. Like no one knows how to make the perfect, most harmonious social media. Most people are not even thinking about that. They're thinking about how do we get how much traffic here, because these cities make money from traffic. They don't really make money from selling direct value. It's all about indirect value. So they're helping people sell other things by creating high traffic areas to advertise those other things. So no one has a master map of here's like how the best city is supposed to be designed slash best social media is supposed to be designed. What they see is this social media has a lot of traffic because they have this kind of street. So we're going to put this kind of street in our social media to hopefully simulate that same kind of traffic and attract traffic over here. Now, who's getting lost in this conversation is the actual citizen who is taking this, who lives in the city and has to take the train in the city or drive in the city or their job is in the city. Their experience isn't really thought about because the people building the social media slash city are building it from a bird's eye view. They're not actually living in that city or taking those routes. They are making decisions from high above, which I think is a necessary angle, but not the only angle to take when you're looking at your city and designing it. I think when you're designing your city, you should also live in it and experience how it actually is to live there. And so what ends up happening is the people in the city usually complain and they say, hey, like, why did you do this to this road? Why did you do this to that road? Like, we want more of this and we want more of that. And little by little, we build out governments and political systems and try to figure it out. And we do our best. But the point here is that the app we started on is a completely different environment than what it is today. And we have all the evidence to safely conclude that it will continue to transform from here, that where we are now is not where we will be in 1, 2, 3 years. This app can wake up one day and just change the rules, or another app can come in and change the rules, or maybe the next thing is not an app. Maybe it's a piece of hardware, or maybe it's something we can't even conceptualize yet. But the point is that when we can first embrace that these things change and also what they are, I don't think we view social medias as cultures and environments, and it does a disservice to building them in a way that actually serves us. We kind of still have this antiquated perception or lens that social media is whatever we thought it was when we got into it. Um, so, social medias are cities, and they are being reconstructed every day and changing our paths that we take into work and into relationships every day. And our lives and the quality of our lives depend on our relationships and our vocation slash our relationship to the resources in our community. So economies are also widely misunderstood, but economies are natural phenomenon. You don't need US dollars or the modern concept of money to create an economy. You can create an economy by putting 10 5-year-olds in a room with 5 cookies. And that's really what we are. We are like 5-year-olds in a room with cookies, and we all have different ideas on how we should distribute these cookies. The cookies are natural resources, energy, and just the finite resources that the earth comes with that we need in order to survive. People hear economies and they think about like Wall Street or finance. Economists and financiers are very different people, and they often don't even talk or overlap. They probably would benefit from talking more. Economists are thinking about decisions. Economies and economists study human action and behavior and why humans take certain actions and behaviors. I'm fascinated by economics. I'm also fascinated by finance, but finance is a whole other monster. Finance is about currency and coming up with all these creative ways to leverage and instrumentalize and productize currency to create and extract value. But we don't have to talk about that today. The point is that economies are natural phenomenon, and they just happen when you take human beings and the human beings have to decide, how are we going to distribute the resources? Should we sell them? Should we give them all to the government and trust the government to properly distribute them? Should we do a mixture of both? Should we, there's all different types of economic theory. And it is clear that we will be having to redefine our basic economic structure because technology is forcing us to change our whole concept of our economy. So, my main point here is if you look at social medias like cities and environments with people, then you have a better grasp on why it changes so much, and you can be better prepared for how you want to change it, or just be better prepared for the changes themselves.